Thames railway bridge. You can see the police pilot waiting to pass through the bridge. And then now that the police force on the Thames, the oldest uniformed police force in the world. They started up the Thames Police 1798, introduced to the river to tackle thieving and piracy, which is a massive problem on the Thames. Here on your left, St Paul's Cathedral, Sir Christopher Wren's masterpiece. It stands 365 feet, easy to remember, 1 foot, built for every day of the year. It took 35 years to build. They finished the cathedral in 1710. Standing alone to your left, still by law they can't build above the cathedral. Illegal to cast a shadow on the dome and the cross. And then here on your right, a much different building than St Paul's. You've got the Tate Modern Art Gallery. So it's full up with modern art. Got the largest collection in Europe, and you go free of charge. Doesn't cost a penny to visit a modern art gallery. If you know anything about modern art, you probably know why it's free to visit. And then this bridge, this is the Millennium Footbridge. Wave to the students there, because they do like to throw things especially, so wave and smile. They call this bridge the Wibbly Wobbly Bridge. On the opening day, that bridge started to bounce. Thousands of people came to walk across, and they built that bridge too light, and it started to move. The wind moved the bridge, and the people started to panic, and they ran to get off. And as they stepped into the swing, it got worse, and it started to violently move side to side. So on the opening day, that bridge was violently moving, and they evacuated the bridge. They call it today the Wibbly Wobbly Bridge. You might have heard of it before. Famous as well for Harry Potter. Used in the films, the beginning of the film, you might recognise it as well from Harry Potter. Now here on your right, the white round building with the thatched roof. That's the William Shakespeare's Globe. This is where you can watch one of William Shakespeare's plays. All of the plays performed traditionally, exactly as they would have been performed in the 1500s. So no stage lighting, there's no microphones to the building, no PA systems. Actors, they do dress up in the traditional clothing. That theatre holds 2,000 people. So there's always tickets available, 2 plays every day through the summer. Brilliant value for money. To get the seated ticket, you pay up to £45, but you can get a standing ticket and it's only around £10. So brilliant value for live entertainment here in London. They'll get you the standing ticket at the Globe. Now this bridge is the Southwark Road Bridge, and the area to your right, now this is the borough of Southwark. So this is one of the 32 London boroughs surrounding the capital city. Southwark years ago is where you found the theatres and the entertainment of an evening time. Today, when you would go to the West End, years ago, you came to your right. This became a dangerous area. Southwark was a notorious place. They called it the stews of Southwark, because you had the theatres here, you had the illegal fighting, the gambling dens, bare knuckle boxing, crook sports. It all took place here in Southwark to your right. There's a pub to your right called the Anchor. The Anchor was built in 1615, so parts of it 400 years old. A very old and a very famous pub on the Thames. William Shakespeare used the pub as changing rooms before performing in the theatres nearby. So one of the more famous pubs on the Thames, somewhere you might like to visit yourself, the Anchor, Bankside. This is how the banks of the Thames used to look here to your right. These buildings, apartments today, converted from warehouses. So people living on the river today, but years ago these buildings stored cargo from all over the world. Pubs now look to your right. You've also got a pirate ship, nice and close to a real life pirate ship. A working replica to Sir Francis Drake's Golden Hind. Sir Francis Drake, he was the first English captain that sailed a ship around the world. He did the journey on a ship identical to this one to your right. Only a replica, but it is a full working ship. Now this bridge, this is lunch. People often confuse it with the next bridge. The next bridge is Tower Bridge. This one has got London Bridge written on it. It definitely is London Bridge. Look. A London Bridge has stood on the Thames for 2,000 years. This is the 5th London Bridge. Now the bridge that stood before that one was sinking into the mud and they had to take it down. They sold the 4th London Bridge to an American, an oil tycoon called Robert McCulloch. And that bridge was moved to America. They rebuilt London Bridge, Arizona, Lake Havasu City. That is where you find the 4th London Bridge today. Rebuilt exactly as it was on the Thames and as a tourist attraction in America. London Bridge. Here on your right, you've got the Shard. This is Western Europe's tallest building. It stands just over 1,000 feet. You can visit the top floor of the building. There's a viewing platform. It's on the 72nd floor. They designed the Shard to look like broken glass that fell from the sky. The man that designed the building, he was an Italian architect, and his name was Renzo Piano. For his design of the Shard, he was offered just over £1 million, but he said no. And what he asked for was one of the apartments at the top of the Shard. At the very top, there is 12 apartments. They gave him an apartment, he lived there, and then he sold the apartment for £48 million. So it's not too bad, is it? £48 million. And then you've got Waterguard House to your left, the large building behind the trees. That is home to this country's customs and excise. So anything confiscated off you when you bring it into the country, so too much tobacco, alcohol, maybe even drugs, all brought to this building, and they say they store it in the basements beneath and incinerate it at the end of every year. Apparently, that is what they do. I'm not too sure. That is what they tell us. Apparently destroy every year. Here to your right, the warship, HMS Belfast. A museum today, a tourist attraction. See the people on board there. See how much fun they're having. The old warship, you can join these people as well. There's 9 levels. You go right through the engine rooms to the captain's wheelbox on top. Takes a few hours to walk around. One of the better tourist attractions you can visit. The HMS at Belfast. This was a powerful ship years ago. It was built in Belfast at Northern Ireland. Last firing the guns during the Korean War campaign, but saw lots of action throughout the Second World War. Came up through Tower Bridge in the 70s, anchored to the